Hey, well, what's the crack? How you getting on? You're all very welcome to episode 105 of Buckshot for Friday, the 29th of the 3rd, 2019. Well done, everybody. How are you? You'll see in a while what I'm doing that ridiculous accent. Gigs this week. What's coming up this week? I will be next weekend, 1st of April. I'll be in Kyo's in Dublin City Centre. Then also I will be in the International Comedy Club on Friday. 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday, and I will also be in Chaplin's Comedy Club as well. I'm going to squeeze it in there somewhere. So if you're going to either, you'll find me at one of them. But I'm also on the 4th, on Thursday. I'll be at the Comedy Club in Derry. I think is it NY? If you go to tomomahony.com / gigs, click through, and it is the link is in the description, as they say. So have a gander at that. See if I'm anywhere near you. Come along. You're all very welcome. This is obviously going out Friday afternoon. It'll go out early as an early release to the Patreon people. So any of the Patreons, you'll be getting this in your ear holes pretty much the second I'm recording this intro. Well, I say second, it'll be like 5 minutes later. You're going to be getting it. As a Patreon, you get that. And on Tuesdays, it turns out my live streaming works. So the Patreons, you get a live stream and you can jump on board and give me shit, ask me questions. We can have the fucking banter on Tuesdays. So I'll give you a heads up. So now that I know that it works, I'll give you a heads up on social media. So keep an eye on it on the old Chatty Snaps or Instagram. I'll give you just an idea when I'm going to be on. So you can jump on, watch it live, but it's there for you as patrons. You also, as a patron, you get the back catalogue of the Tom and Jerry Show with me and Jerry McBride of Water McWhispers, the McDonald's version when they got bought out. Water Whispers. Just have the fucking crack for 18 episodes of two culchies just kind of shouting at each other. It's good shit. The Tea Republic shop people seem to be, the summer's around the corner. People seem to be buying Tea Republic stuff with Buckshot, fucking my Buckshot face all over things, and Buckshot logos and stuff. Fair play to you. Good on you. Keep up the good work. It's all supporting the podcast, going towards better shit. That being said, we'll move straight on into today's guest. Today, Jesus Christ, we recorded this yesterday, and I pretty much am laughing the whole way through it. She's an absolute fucking hilarious woman, and there is tongue-in-cheek like piss taken off the two of us the whole way. Like the first 25 minutes is us finding our way through how are we going to take the piss out of each other a bit more. So it's pretty much two characters just fucking slagging off the world, and this just is very, very, very funny. She's one half of not only the Dublin podcast with PJ Gallagher. She is a broadcaster, a voiceover artist, a blogger, but not the wanky kind, sound kind, like the kind of shit you could actually fucking read and not go, ugh. Good fucking crack. But there's humour and tongue-in-cheek in everything she does. She's a powerful, powerful bit of crack. I just so much fun. You're going to enjoy this. So please give it up for the brilliant Suzanne Kane. Suzanne Kane, we're off to the races. Thank you very much for popping in.
I'll be here again. Fallon and Byrne, some type of, I don't even know. It's like a stale sausage roll, but in puff pastry with cream.
Exactly. When you look at it, I was going, oh, because your eyes are deceptive. You're going, that's a sausage roll, is it? But then it's got the weird creamy stuff on the inside.
It's delicious. This is what Tom brought to woo me for his podcast. I've never been wooed so well on a podcast.
I don't understand why you wouldn't.
Well, he said there would be cookies, but you brought this. But you know what? To be honest,
I was going to bring biscuits, but I've doing for Lent. I came off chocolate and jellies. Lent? Only because it's good for me, because I'm a complete psychopath, right. Regardless of any religious connotations. It's good for me to actually force myself.
But you know, being a psychopath, it kind of doesn't really. It doesn't come from chocolate. Do you know?
It's a valid point you make.
It's more neurological, probably. You just want to get that assessed, rather than the chocolate's not going to do. If anything, just make it a little bit more on edge in terms of sugar.
Yeah,
no?
It's more of a discipline thing I'm trying to do to myself.
Right, okay. I don't know how you discipline a psychopath either. Do you know?
I know.
Do you think one of the things they said with Ted Bundy was,
if you came off the jellies for 40 days and came off the chocolate,
he'd be spot on.
He'd probably be an all right
fella.
There'd
be less women worried. Do you know? Do you think that would have been an actual thing? So anyway, you're off it for length.
I'm off it, and it was I was trying to get a Bickies, and of course I went to Fallon and Byrne because just you and my wife, very South Dublin, so it's like we
love this. You went to Fallon and Byrne because I'm so South Dublin.
Yeah,
I love that.
But you have to, you know what I mean? Like, had you come up from Laois, I would have brought turf or something in. You know, that kind of way. It was like.
Oh, hello, Laois. How's it going? This is the really funny thing, right? So I had seen your face before I had ever listened to this podcast, right?
Right.
But just generally, like, I think I'd been Stanton. I don't think I'd actually made the
no, but that's the face I do have.
That's your face, right? And then I started listening to your podcast.
Yeah.
And I went, I have the wrong podcast here because your voice and your face don't match, like, at all, right? And I was trying to figure it out. And then finally I figured it out. It was because you're fucking Tarquin, right?
Yes, yeah.
In Damon Ivor, right? So to me, I genuinely believe that was kind of your accent just a bit, like, so it's kind of like if I ramped up my accent in South Dublin, that's just kind of what it would sound like, you know, like I went to school with those kind of guys, so, you know, I know kind of basically who they are, you know, so I just thought that that's kind of just ramped up your accent a little bit, but it turns out you're a cabbage head.
Oh, absolutely,
like, it just, if ever an accent doesn't suit somebody's face, or they're looking for someone to play that role, you need to step forward and be like, hello, front and centre, because I have the face and skin tone of a South Dublin, you know, privately educated chap.
And I couldn't
be more
and you
not
that.
Be. You are literally a straight up cabbage head.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't.
I can only take pride in what you're saying here because obviously I convinced you.
There's people in the country like who are coming up to college. You should give them lessons and be like, "This is how you. Oh my God. This is how you seep in."
Little induction,
into Dublin, like.
The DCU kids, like, you know,
the
UCD, whatever.
The UCD kids.
Grand.
DCU, not so much. UCD, yes, absolutely.
UCD, sorry, I have the wrong way around. Yeah,
that's what happens. But you're not from there. But like, you really, you could do it, you know. And Dublin Business School, you could go to them and be like, do you want to go to the Dublin Business School? If your mum and dad are buying your education and they haven't got into college, but they're real nervous about coming to Dublin, you should go. Don't worry, I'm going to do a class. You know, kind of mid-July to give them enough time to be ready for Freshers' Week, September.
Those classes that they do in the States and stuff like that, and how to I'm not sure what they call it. You know, like it's always this obnoxious bloke.
How to be a parent kind of thing.
We know how to pull women.
Oh,
you know,
yeah,
those
like the
ones.
Wolf of Wall Street, like how to be a millionaire kind of thing.
Is that it? Do I go? Sell me that pen.
Yeah.
In South Dublin, and I was like, so this pen is absolutely outrageously good, right? So. I'm amazed.
I'm holding it.
I'm holding it. Yeah.
That's all you need to know.
I don't know.
Like that kind of self-confidence that they have, that those people have.
Yeah, but you know what? It's everywhere. It's everywhere in the country.
Really?
It's everywhere.
I don't leave the Pale much. You've heard this though, right?
Of course. Yeah. I mean, look, you're dead right. With your roots, you're dead right. I mean, you're totally wrong in a lot of ways.
Of course, I am. Yeah.
And that is kind of how inbreeding does happen in this. That
Correct.
vibe.
But I'm technically inbred though. Like, do you know what I mean? In terms of, so not in that like our kids are green because we're genetically inbred, but in terms of just in my area. So like I had to go. Like I left my area. I dated a guy who was from Kilkenny actually, like long time ago. It wasn't for me. He you know, I went there a few times and everything. And
you got a visa.
It was dark. I was just like, why is there no lights outside your house at night? Like, what is that noise? But then ultimately I just came back to South Dublin and married a guy from the club.
Understandable.
Because like, where else would you go? To me it made no, like, you know, no sense to be elsewhere.
Horizons broaden.
What? I mean, stop it. But yeah, so like, and obviously we live in the area we grew up in.
Well, all I did for the Tarquin accent was kind of, because I thought it was such a silly accent to start with. All I did was put a character in my head. But it was my wife she's from Dalkey. So all she was doing,
listen, it's her peeps as well.
Yeah, she was just giving me pointers on what. So I just took the piss.
Yeah.
And they went, that's exactly what we were looking for. I went, really? Sound. But
you were so good at it.
Thank you very much.
I believed it, and I am one of those people.
This is a perfect affirmation for what I was looking for.
Yeah. Well, that could be your selling point. I really feel like you need to take this like on the road. I think that you need to have something for people going to college. You can do it as a stand-up show if that's what you want to do. But like, just do a thing and be like, and this is how, and just all the things that we do about where we buy our clothes. if they have girlfriends that are down the country and stuff, I suppose they'll have to appease them and tell them that they're not going to go up and dip their hand in the cookie jar of South Dublin, but they will. You know, they will. They will be full on to the Viscounts by mid-September.
I was going to bring Viscounts, but I'm off the chalk. I'm off the chalk.
Off the chalk for Lent.
Yeah, and culchies will call it Viscounts. Believe it or not, I've had this row with people in the past. Like, see, I straddle both. I think I probably straddle both sides of the fence.
Sandwiches as well, and we all know that's not a word.
Yeah, sandwiches.
It's not in a dictionary anywhere.
It's true. You see, the whole like South Dublin thing. There's a South Cork thing. There's a South Limerick thing. There's every city, and they all of you have the same West Brit accent.
Right.
Weirdly, just with a hint, like in Cork, would be it's still Cork, but it's like. So it's absolutely there, like, and, brought the yacht in, told Kinsale there.
So they're my people in Cork.
Oh, yeah. Just go to Kinsale or, you'll be great.
It is really disappointing, I suppose, that, like, you're talking about, like, as I look at the the Irish Citizen Army behind you, this kind of seems like the wrong place to say, but there is that thing of, like, that Westbury thing that I kind of know if I lived 150 years ago, even 100 years ago, I probably would have been one of those people, working for the British Army. And then, unfortunately, like I've been educated over the years, and especially with the rising and all of this, that you go, Jesus, you bunch of bastards, that they came along and did what they did, and everything happened. And it's such a conflicting place to be when you're in South Dublin.
When you're standing in Marks and Spencer's,
you're standing in Marks and Spencer's,
looking at the potatoes, going,
and you have a love you can't describe for Kate Middleton because you feel she's one of your people. But yes, you came in, you raped, you pillaged, you took all of our shit, and we're still trying to get it back. But you dressed impeccably. It's for me at the moment. It's kind of
listen. I'm fond of a tweed shooting jacket myself. Who isn't? And I get where you're coming from, but there is you can see where the culchies come from too. Like
completely.
When they look on at this, but you'd fit in. You just need to know where to find the spots in these cities.
So then in Limerick, I'm confused. So I've been to Limerick once.
Right.
I played Camogie. When I say played Camogie, I attended Camogie. I just never wanted to be put on.
Okay,
get hit or anything. But I like the social aspect.
You actually played Camogie. I mean, I would have had you as a hockey woman.
No, I did play hockey in school.
Protestant hurling.
Yeah, pretty much. With a bigger ball. And again, I wasn't that. And no one would play us because we had a mixed team. So because we was a boys and girls team in our hockey.
Okay,
we
I thought
school.
Country cities thought you were. Oh, so actually
no, there was penises and vaginas both on the team. And I think it was just a bunch of lads in sixth year who played hockey, who just probably inappropriately wanted to meet chicks from the younger. That's what they did.
There's absolutely no
there's
problem.
laws against it really now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It would probably start as a hashtag, but. But yeah, so they went and got all of us Camogie girls. But sure, like, hockey was lost on us because you can't swing higher. Sure, we spent our life swinging high. That's what we do. That's how you move people. You swing high with a hurl, with a Camogie stick, and you swipe across. But yeah, so I played Camogie. I was obviously, because I'm St. Jude's is my club.
Right. Okay.
So in Templeogue, and so we went down. We won a Fela or a Fesh or something. I don't know. And off we went. So we were all farmed out to houses in Limerick. Sure, we were like brought to the back arse of nowhere in Limerick in like, I can't even think of the name of the place.
Were you out in the sticks or were in the city?
No, we were out in the sticks. No, proper out in the sticks, right? And me and one of the girls, who's still my pal now, Jenny, we were sitting and they got us, I'll never forget it, they got us Goodfellas pizzas. They went into town to get them because the Dublin girls were coming, So they got us these, and there was a noise and this thing far down a field. And I said, what's that down there? And she was making sandwiches to bring up in the morning. And she said, that's the abattoir.
Oh!
I was like, what the fuck is an abattoir? I just looked at Jenny. I was like, I don't. And Jenny's looking at me because I'm like, I don't know.
What age were you? Because you would
16.
I had no concept of where your meat
15,
came from.
No, sorry. 15 or 4, like 15, 14. No, not even the concept of where meat came from. Like, my mum went to the butcher's down to Brady's, they gave it to us. But even the word abattoir had, like, like I was a kind of intelligent, well-rounded person in terms of, my educational forays to that point. But the word abattoir had never come up in South Dublin educational system. So I genuinely, and I think that she saw how blank I was and went, it's where we kill the pigs. Slaughter, sorry, was the word I believe she used. And I just fucking...
It's where we murder.
I swear to God. She was like, and do you want hang sandwiches tomorrow? I was like, do they come from there? They were their own pigs. Oh, fuck me.
You didn't go down for a look?
No, I didn't. And we still, like, my mom still tells people that, like, she still, because my mom can genuinely see my face. Because I came home and was like, Mom, she's killing pigs out of her back garden to put them in sandwiches. Like, this is not even, like, yeah, myself and Jenny were only actually just away a couple of weeks ago, and we were, like, again, talking about that time we were sitting in Limerick. And then we went to play camogie. And when you're Dublin, you like, especially where camogie was, I suppose it's come on, like, unbelievably, I suppose, in the past 20 years. But at that point, like, we really were the token team. Like, these girls were born with hurls. They with sticks in their hands. They were so good, to the point that I was just like, we're dead already. We shouldn't have to play the second half. It's embarrassing. Like, there was teams just fucking just dragging us. We were just running around after them, going,
cricket scores. Like,
and these girls were just like, for shits and giggles, were just fucking belting balls over our heads, and we were like, oh, we'll try and bat the things, fucking pointless. Just get us to the parade on Sunday. And then we did it is it Thomond Park or somewhere in Limerick, a big park.
It would be near Thomond Park, it's the Gaelic grounds.
The Gaelic grounds, yeah. So, that Thomond is what? Rugby?
The rugby.
Yeah. A different one altogether. But yes, so we did a parade, and to be honest with you, I've never been so delighted to see the Artane Boys Band in my life. I just was real like, up down Dubs, up down Dubs.
This is your thing.
Look, we're home. They're there, it's inside. Get on the bus, go home. But yeah, that was my foray into Limerick. But those people weren't my West Brit people, I don't think.
No, they certainly weren't.
They were the ones fighting for
What I'm talking about is like somebody, take Conor Murray.
Right, okay.
Those people exist in Limerick. He's from Limerick City.
He's not.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I find the rugby thing really weird as well, because we're not rugby people, we're Gal people, so we're very lost in the world. Do you know
but then
what I mean?
weirdly you get a place like Dalkey then winning the club championship in hurling. It's like these weird influxes of culchies. There must be culchies somewhere in.
Culchies started our club. They came in and they started our club, and then my dad, like, was involved in it, but it was the majority of people. Obviously he was local, so he got involved for the sense community. But like that, they all came with their cabbages from Mayo and I'm so thankful that they did, that they came and that they built, and like they started. Now some of them were Dubs as well, but they started on our green, our local green, and that was with no clubhouse. They met at the shops, they played their games, we'd no grounds, we'd no clubhouse. Like, our clubhouse was 40 years this year. I'm like, oh, incredibly proud.
It's only 40 years.
40 years old. Yeah, no, we're babies. But it's so funny, actually, which made me laugh. We had a big tragedy in our club last week. But the irony of all of it was that of something that I saw on Twitter was that we had a minute's silence at an under 11s game, as we brought one of our club members past the club to bring him to bury him. But this under 11s was going on, but they were playing Raheny. But Raheny's bio on Twitter is one of the best bios because it's a South. Now they're new. Raheny Gales are Ranelagh Gales. Sorry, Ranelagh Gales.
Okay, Ranelagh Gales.
I apologise, Ranelagh Gales.
And you're saying, and in fairness, you're saying it how it's supposed to be said, because a lot of Dublin call it Ranelagh.
No, it's Ranelagh.
Yeah, I know it's Ranelagh, but for some reason, loads of South Dublin people I meet go, you're not from Dublin, because it's actually Ranelagh.
See, the really posh South Dubliners round their words a lot more than I do.
Okay, right,
yeah. But it allows you, if you have an accent like mine, it allows you to do Cardi B, because you can kind of go, Cardi. Do you know where they can't, if you can't round your words, but if you're posher again, you could round them way better than I do.
Okay, right, yeah.
She does like, do you know? But I think that somewhere there's a bit of Cardi B in all of us. Now, not the stripping part, obviously, because that's a whole other thing. But yeah, Ranelagh or Ranelagh.
Ranelagh.
What way do you say it?
I call it Ranelagh because it's a fucking A after the R.
Maybe what way do really posh people? What way?
Ranelagh.
Ranelagh. I say Ranelagh. Maybe that's common. Maybe that's because I'm Temple Oak and I'm not classed as posh because I'm not the Dalkey side. Do you know what I mean?
With you. Yeah.
So,
but don't worry.
Anyway, they call themselves. I can't find their thing because there's been so many tweets since that. But they call themselves basically like one of the most prestigious clubs. They're only new, do you know what I mean? But
there's
they're
no prestige.
No, they are, and I like the cut of their jib. I have to say, I really do. I love that they've gone in balls deep and they've just gone. We're out there and we're a prestigious club. Do you know, we're not fucking around. We're telling it out.
It's
straight.
a very un-Irish thing to do, isn't it?
I know. That's why I kind of really like it. Do you know? That's why I kind of like what they're doing. I like the cut of their jib. I like what they're doing.
I think
it's been a really. A really standout thing to put yourself out there and go, no, we're not going to just say we're, a local community club where they're just going to go straight in and go, we are prestigious.
It's going to be like a vetting system to get to play hurling or camogie for fucking...
Yeah, it'd be like trying to get into a private school. I'm trying to find their thing. They'll be like, just if you could just leave your bank statement at the door, we'll let you know whether your kid can come to academy or not. Obviously, they don't do that for anybody listening.
For sure, they definitely do it.
For
just
Ranelagh
for anybody
Gales.
listening, getting furious here.
They're
now.
just like, are you fucking kidding me? And this is it. Yeah, sorry, Ranelagh Gales GAA. So they call themselves Ranelagh's most prestigious GAA club. Like, it's not big.
Oh,
like Jude's, we just go, we're a local community club.
Prestigious
is the word
such
of prestigious
a Protestant word to use. It is not the right word when it comes to GA circumstances. Wow.
So that's a dub who started that one.
Oh, for sure, but it's a dub who
with notions
whose children are in
Isn't it
are in
fantastic?
private school, like.
Isn't it fantastic? Do you not love it?
I do. I love the boldness of it. Like, you see, even when I played rugby in school,
Did you play rugby in school?
I did, but we weren't a posh school. We just started a team as soon as our crazy principal left when I was in 5th year.
Right.
And we were all playing club. There was like 3 club teams.
Where were you then?
I was in Tipperary.
Right.
But then...
And how are your club in Tipperary?
They
any use?
Oh yeah, no, they're the second oldest club after Lansdowne in the country. Like, so more than anything, was real old.
Only 40 years old.
It was a real old boys club in that, like, at age 12 you learned how to drink and smoke fags. You know what I mean? So
if you're not going into junior football having a cigarette at the side and coming out of your football career going back into junior football with a belly and smoking, you haven't come full circle in the GAA.
Exactly. And our club, there was, like I said, there was 2 other clubs, but we got Alan Quinlan, who was to coaches.
Stop.
And we had
How did you just get him?
Because he's from our club. And he was like...
From your GAA club?
No, from our rugby
club.
And he would...
I was like, did he cross over?
Twice a week he'd pop in. He'd bring either Ron O'Gara or Peter Stringer was. We were telling nobody. We went and played all the schools team in Munster and we fucking beat the living piss out of everybody.
And that's quite a competitive market, right?
Oh, yeah. But we beat the living rocks off everybody.
So what privates are in that pool?
I suppose Rockwell.
I was about to say, there was a rock.
Rockwell would be up the road. Yeah. And then you have Munchins in Limerick, Crescent in Limerick.
They're big, aren't they?
Yeah, that'd be Conor Murray style people. Yeah. You know. Then you've Pres and Christians in Cork.
Right.
And there's a couple more dotted around the place.
Names are good, aren't they?
Yeah.
Christians.
Yeah. Do you know? So you know it's a war straight away.
Because my husband went to a rugby school.
Did he?
Yeah, but he played GAA. Ironically, he played a bit of rugby as well. And my brother went to a rugby school as well, but they played GAA. But I could think the GAA team were just kind of like fun. Do you know, like because they played obviously club football and they played, like, both my husband and my brother played county football, inter-county football as well. But like, you know, they had a dalliance, as it were, with the rugby, but they had, and like that in Tavernier, there was a teacher, like GAA teacher, sports teacher came in and he introduced the GAA team into Tavernier because my brother never played GAA in Tavernier, but my husband did.
But that's good that they were allowed. You see,
I don't think they were allowed when Jeffrey
when
was
I started it was kind of myself and another chap. It was our brainchild to start it, and we'd get Alan Quinlan on board and all the rest. And we started plucking. There was a couple of lads who were playing county football they were twins for Tipperary at the time.
Right.
In our school.
Nice.
These lads were like 6'3", could run like bullets. And stuck them on both wings. And the lads went, so I can just smash people. I was like, yeah.
Of course you can. There's no rules here.
But this will tell you,
Well, there is, but they're ridiculous.
I got a phone call, a mysterious phone call to my parents' house. I'm like 17.
Hello.
The guy had his disguise in his voice. And the old man answers and he's like, oh, there's somebody looking for you on the phone here with a weird voice. Is it like some weird girl or something? And it's a grown-ass man basically complaining to me. He's going, what are you fucking doing? Stealing our football or something. Like, what? And a guy called to the house. Football and hurling crazy guy called to the house.
Not crazy, just, you know.
He said to my father,
right.
What is your son doing playing that Protestant shit? And my dad was like, man, do you know what you do? Because you see, I was kind of an old man I was able to have a good argument. Even I'll tell you what, he's down the back.
I'll send him out to you. That's a real country thing, isn't it? He's down the back.
And just by total chance, we were after buying a new shotgun. I was testing it out at the back, and I walked around.
Who says that?
Yeah, I know. Podcast listeners are used to me.
I know, but again, it's just
death is never more than a step away in the country.
I know, but that's the terrifying part.
Yeah.
Of it.
It's way scarier to live in the country.
Say it like it's just normal.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, it's not.
There's nothing funny. I'm actually working out a bit at the minute on how much more dangerous the countryside is to the city. And you see city people who have no concept because they'll have gone on a glamping weekend or whatever. I
mean, I haven't even done that.
and this will be their only dalliance.
Wilderness for me.
But you talk about the death and everything. But getting back to that, he basically said it to me in the whole, and it was amazing. I said, look, fuck off. I don't know what to tell you. It's sport to sport. 3 years later, all of a sudden, Heineken took over the European Championship. Munster are winning all over the place. All these outlads who are fucking basically, now they're telling me tactics that Munster should be playing.
They all have PhDs in it, like.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, you're like, this is my fucking dance. I'll tell you what way we do it.
Fuck off with yourself.
You're right too. Put your foot down. But it is funny because, like, I didn't come from there was soccer. We've initially, when I tell you, if you look at where Jude's is, there's a gate. And if you go over to the right-hand side, that's where the soccer club is, Temple Oak United. The middle part is Jude's, and then the left is Fogg's, which is just a hurling club.
Right.
And like, even like that, a guy who works with Joey plays hurling, and I'm like, why? Where did you end up with the hurling? Like, why didn't you come to Jude's? And he was like, I actually played with Jude's for a bit, but I just wanted to hurl, and then I ended up going over to Fogg's. I was like, you big dirty leaving us. And then you have the people who go to, the soccer club. Yeah. And I'm like, whatever.
Yeah, you said that with exactly the face you should say.
Exactly.
For the podcast listeners, it's the face I would make when I mention soccer. Yeah.
And then you have, Jude's in the middle or whatever. But it's like, it's funny because it's like it is the centre of the earth. But I think everybody's like that about their rugby club if you're involved in a rugby club or your soccer club. I don't know what happens there with those clubs. Or your GA club, but for us it's like it's all encompassing. It's like,
I think too, when you get to a certain level, like I've become quite good friends with Dean Rock. We've done a few things back and forth together, and
throwing around names there.
I'll pick it up off the ground if you want to hear it. Look, but Dean,
I tell him to get a little bit more involved and stop afraid of being hit, but that's a story for another time.
We had a conversation the other day. They are going to have. He physically had lost at least a half stone. He goes, in a week. His face was all gaunt and shit. I was like, what is it? He's like, man, he's just been running us because we've lost 3 games on the trot. So all the other guys are going to get a shot, and we've got hills to run for the next fucking 3 weeks. But he played. I was asking him because he played rugby at a decent level,
right? Okay.
All through schools and stuff like that. And I said, why? How did? Was that okay? He goes, yeah, it's grand. Because, it's grand. Nobody ever had an issue with me. I was playing more rugby when I was on the minor football team than I was. I was like, and nobody had a problem. But then I was thinking, of course nobody's going to have a problem. Your old man, for starters.
He's going to tell Barney, that he's not allowed to do what he wants to do.
But in fairness to Dean, he was like, nobody ever said anything to me. It was fine.
But I think Dean, or maybe I don't know because I don't know, but that's the kind of character he strikes me as, that he probably isn't fully aware of everything that's going on around him. I think he just concentrates on what he's doing, and he's very just, focused on what he's doing. And does it, obviously I've seen him play senior. My husband's played against him in senior, and stuff. Obviously with Ballymun and stuff, but obviously Jude's have played Ballymun. But I have never come his laser focus on a football pitch. It's like Mannion for Kilmacud. Like Kilmacud beat Jude's last year in the senior final, and Mannion basically did it by him. I've never seen a man cover the pitch like that. The level of athleticism of them is just off the charts. Do you know what I mean? It is off the charts. But if you talk to a lot of GA players, they'll say about, they had a dalliance with soccer. But it always seemed to be, and look, this is only my opinion, but it always seemed that the soccer was like, make your decision. Yeah. Are you going to be a soccer player, or are you going to, it's like Niall Quinn was a handy GA player, but obviously chose to, and rightly so, it was lucrative for him, but chose to go down the route of playing soccer. But then, the Brogans were very good soccer players, and, you hear, but they just chose to go, again, I suppose maybe there's a lineage there with their family, but they chose to go down the route. But it always seems to be that, I may choose between soccer and GA. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And even in the kids coming up, they play hurling or camogie, and they play football. And as they go along, then if they lean towards one, but Danny Sutcliffe, who's one of our Jude's players, who's a Dublin player, on off season was playing senior football for Jude's, and an incredible footballer, just a natural athlete though. He put his hand to anything. Do you know what I mean? And then you see him go out and play for Dublin. I know, kick them in the knees. But you see him go out and play Dublin hurling the other day, and he's an incredible athlete. Yeah, do you know, he has a natural hand. But he's toyed between the two. It's like, there was a Dublin player who was Ballybowden. I'm trying to think, who was Conor Keaney. Who was a hurler. Yeah, was a footballer, but then went back to hurling, and is a hurler in Ballybowden. But it played at inter-county level for Dublin for hurling and for football.
It's weird though too, in the counties that you're talking about too, because
in Dublin, depends on your county as well.
It does, because you'd be if you're in say South Tipperary, where I'm from, football and hurling county level, no problem. Brendan Cummins did it.
Sure,
he played in goal and played for.
Yeah.
But if you're
He
in,
went through a hard time as well.
yeah. But if you went to North Tipperary,
No
you-
fucking around there.
you think you're picking up a football. You could be
Right.
about to play the All Ireland senior fucking final in football, but there'll be a training match for your local club in hurling, and they go, "Where the fuck's your man?"
Yeah.
They have no
Yeah,
time.
they're hard because I had a
have
Tipperary
no
teacher
time.
in school who used to walk around brandishing a hurl with the Tipperary colours on it. And that's the one thing about Dublin clubs as well. I think maybe you don't get it down the country as much, is that because in Dublin, like, you have, it's like the United Colours of GAA.
Yeah.
You know, come Champo season, so you'll have, like, you know, Mick O'Brien is Kerry, so he'll be coming in and he'll be having a scrap with somebody from Mayo. And
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
you know, so all these are
It's
all
like
going
Ryan
on.
Dwyer is
Yeah.
another ringer like who got fucked out of the tip team, and then
I
becomes a
love that.
star for Dublin.
I love that. And they've lived in Dublin all their lives. And come Champo season or whatever, if they're up in the club watching a match, they're sitting wearing like their Kerry colours or their Mayo colours, or and you're like, you haven't even been down to see your ma.
Yeah, I
like,
know
in 30
second generation
years.
Tipperary people in living from Dublin who
Is
would
it 'cause
support.
see, if I lived outside Dublin, my kids I would essentially be painting them blue,
I think
sky
so.
blue and navy, like.
But even
And they'd probably have Dublin accents because I like proper, like, my kids be walking around, I must be in Starland, because I want people to know they're not from here.
do your kids have that? What accent do they have already? What age are they?
So Oisin is 4.5 and Hannah's 2.5. Hannah, it depends on so my kids toy between American because of the shit they watch on telly.
Yeah.
And then they have Oisin is taken to saying things sometimes down 2 syllables. And he's like, don't, like, you know, I can't actually even think of words that he says. We don't know. And he's like, you know what? And then other words he'll say are he'll say really, really posh words, but that's West British Peppa Pig. And then Hannah's the same. Like, Hannah says, "What?" the whole time. What?
Who's she getting that from?
I don't know, because I'm like, the word is part.
Is it bin men or something, or
no? It's just her. She's just.
Your
rogue.
gardener must be totally common or something. Is he?
The help.
See, I've no idea what accent, because we're expecting our first child.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
When is this whirlwind coming into your life? Where are you having the baby for starters? Where will your wife be delivering?
Hollow Street.
Okay.
But we
Dublin start.
So yeah. So I don't know what accent, because
it'll have a lilt of country, but it'll have a nice, lovely Dublin accent. Because between with your wife and where do you live?
Enniskerry.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah, no, and
once they don't go too far in, it's scary because you're going into that kind of Ashford.
Oh
that
no,
kind of
I
further
can't
to,
have
you know,
a
going
Wicklow
into
accent. No.
Wicklow.
Wicklow. There we were. And he was driving me Land Cruiser, and
we went to the farm, right?
The
last
farm?
weekend, like an actual real life working farm, right? So my husband,
where's the farm?
It's not the farm. I just at that farm, like as in a farm, like it's not an actual place. It's just a farm.
You went to it like you said that, like you went to the pub. Is that what you're talking about? Like,
no, it's an actual real life farm, right?
Okay,
a working farm. So my husband went to school with this guy, and he used to tell me all these stories about going to work on the farm. And I, to be honest with you, thought it was a bit like, I was a bit like, yeah, of course you did, love. I'm delighted for you. I thought it was like, I thought there was an element of that he did this, but also there was like, you know, we all do it. We kind of all, you know, gilly things up as we get on. But anyway, long story short, actually one of the guys who was in their class in secondary school won a medal at the Special Olympics.
Brilliant.
Yes, Keating is his name. I think Gary Keating, but he won for golf. So anyway, he was on the Late Late Show, and this guy had texted Joey saying, "Oh my God, did I just see such?" So anyway, they got back in touch, and it's lambing season. You're probably aware of that from where you're from, but to me, I don't know what that is.
It would be big lamb country.
Is it not?
Beef country is where I'm from. Really. Yeah.
This is new news. Like, who even? What? Like, obviously, is Limerick pig place? Because they had a pig abattoir at the back. Anyway, abattoir is where they
Limerick is a big pig place.
Well, there you go. That's
Anyway,
so he said, "Come up and see us." Anyway, up we went to Blessington to the farm, and I put a pair of
hunters
boots on me, because I actually just put like a nice kind of Kirk Geiger pair of boots on, really, because I didn't have anything. Anyway, but the kids had hunters, obviously, and that was fine. And this is part of the introduction. If when you tell these college students that when they're going to do festival season, they need hunters. Wellies, get them on the sale. When the weather gets good, get them, and you're good. So anyway, we went, but like, Jesus Christ, I was blown away by this farm. So it's an actual, like, this man's life. Like, it's what he actually does for a living. Like, that's it. So it's a massive big shed full of all these ewes. I had to Google that. That's female sheep.
Well done.
sheep, not
Sheep,
plural,
yeah.
from sheep, and they're lambing, like they're giving birth to these beautiful little lambs. And as we walked in, there's this 9-year-old who's his nephew, who's fucking calm as you like, and he's like, "Oh look, she just had one there, and there's a fucking lamb on the ground." Like, just no one's spraying Evian in this ewe's face. You know, there's no lavender in the room. There's nothing. She's just dropped it on the hay, and she's having twins. And the middle part is all twins and triplets to be born. And then the part outside is all singles. And then as you go around, they get their private room for an hour, you know, for a night or two till they get kicked out, and then the next person comes through. But I was like, I cried when the lamb was born because I was so. No, in fairness, it had been a fairly emotional couple of days prior to that. But it was such. I couldn't believe how incredible it was to be there and to see a lamb being born and to be on a farm, and like to the point that Joey was like, "Oh my god, I wouldn't do this permanently. Like, it's fine for an hour.
Yeah.
I can Insta it, save it in the stories. It's there if you want to go back and watch The Miracle of Life, and then fuck off back to the house where it's clean and my kids don't have literally shit on their feet. Do you know what I mean? But like it is mad that you kind of go, like, you see your kids and that and my kids were so relaxed and chilled out, and they definitely don't get that from me. I think so. Maybe your child will have an inherent bit of country in it because of you, and then your wife will just spend her life trying to get it out of the
weirdly
kid.
though, my wife, she's nothing like the rest of her family in that she always wanted to live in the countryside.
Really?
Yeah. Now it was a shock. The romantic notion of it, she got, like, to give you an example.
Is she thinking of the holiday kind of?
She's thinking Monarch in the Glen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That it's going to be gas. We're all drinking, Pims on the lawn and whatnot.
Yeah.
But we're looking
it's
out.
warm all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
But it was.
There's no damp.
She has. I've ruined her basically. She's no good now to anybody else. She's. She says.
Sign of a good man.
She says things like, "Well."
She doesn't.
Yeah, she said it the other day, and this is weird.
Have Dougie asked her to leave yet?
Oh no, she can never go back. No. Like, no, this is. But one of the first time she ever stayed at my mother's house.
Yeah.
And this was
separate rooms.
Yeah, of course.
Obviously. We're not animals down here.
She
outside the door.
Outside the door. It was just prior to Christmas. It was about November, and my mother had raised 6 turkeys that needed killing, and this was a gift she was going to give to everybody in the neighborhood. Not the gift of death, but the gift of a turkey.
Slaughter a turkey for you.
Yeah,
Happy Christmas.
I'm going to murder a turkey. So my mother,
only in the country.
This is kind of a thing that I've always had to do because I was the one that was quite good at it.
Again,
but
telling,
she had gotten this new device that was really, really, I suppose, animal friendly to the point that they didn't feel any pain. Yeah, right. And it was just for closing on their neck. Clean as a whistle. I wouldn't
go too into detail. I'm very squeamish.
Well, you're going to like this story.
Okay, good.
So my wife was in bed, and it was maybe 6 a.m.
Right.
And my mother, the very first turkey, I'd set the thing wrong. It went, killed the turkey, no bother, but it did nick an artery, which pissed blood everywhere. All over me, the shed, every fucking thing, drenched everything. Finished the job off. Reset it. The other 5 worked beautifully. We're plucking away these turkeys, and my mother said,
they said this is like normal.
Do you think? No, and this isn't actually a normal. We get, like, she did this a couple of years in a row, and then went way too much work in this. But she said, do you think Natasha'd like to pluck a turkey? Because she'd been getting really into all country stuff already that time. She got
a bit of bacon, a bit of brown bread, and whatnot is not.
She'd shot a couple of guns. She'd really gotten into that.
Things were still new in the relationship, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, she's trying to impress me.
We've all taken hits.
But I said, do you know what? She might want to pluck a turkey. If she doesn't, no bother. I'll go up. It's about 8 a.m. I woke up. She's sound asleep. Great night's sleep. Now, my mother didn't catch me as I went out the door of the shed. I was still drenched from head to toe, all down my face, streaming down my face in turkey blood. Every bit of me, in my ears, up my nose, everything had turkey blood. And I'm like, morning, good morning, good morning.
Be gone. I actually could feel the blood draining.
You have gone a little paler. And she stuck around. She stuck around after that shit.
You have. But see, that's the thing. I suppose for me, like, that's that Dublin. Again, you can do this in your class. Is the Dublin is falling in love with my younger cousin. Twin cousins, and they're like, when you watch they were our babies, and they're like they're 20 something, and they're beautiful, like oh my god, they're rides. And one of them, they went to college in agriculture. I was like, did you take a fucking knock somewhere in school? I was like,
one of the twins went to Ag College.
Yeah, she went. Yeah, so now she goes out with a farmer from Tipperary. She's still living in Dublin, and that hasn't changed. But like, she says mad stuff, and I'm just like, and like her twin, another twin, just thinks it's like, and we all just think that this is the maddest thing that has ever happened in our family. And she's quite happy, and you know, they go back and down. She puts up pictures of his farm, his parents' farm, and she's out working and helping and doing all those things. But I think she's the exception to the rule. I think if you're a real Dublin person, and you know, I think if you're from an estate, and I think trying to make the transition, I think love really, it shows you conquers a lot in those cases. Yeah. Because I think it is we are very different sometimes. Like that like the turkey thing, or
that's an extreme.
You come in and cover the blood, or the sandwiches, or but even the way you grow up is so different. I think. You know, and you're saying about like the being like, you know, the danger in an estate in Dublin. We used to have a laneway and a kind of a big we used to call it a playground, but it was just an area that there was no houses on, and it was a big huge tarmac right. So we used to call it a playground, and it was on a hill. So my parents' estate is on a hill, so it goes down into like a massive big green. But there was a lane into the open playground, and then the end of the lane went out onto the main road. But we used to do catamarans on skateboards. So one person would have a skateboard, so two parallel skateboards. You sat across, crossed your legs like that. Across them, and then someone would push them down the lane, and then a person would jump on top of them. And then you'd go. So your only real problem there was getting hit by a car.
Okay.
But bear in mind, this is the 80s, so like only a couple of people on the road have cars.
Yeah.
So the only time it was ever treacherous was kind of 6 o'clock when dads were coming home. But the rest of the day, you were kind of good unless there was an unannounced, you know, visitor or somebody died.
Yeah.
Other than that, that was really all that could happen to you in an estate in Dublin was get hit by a car, or like any type of, you know, knick-knack incident that one of the neighbours would go spare at you.
Yeah. But there's no death involved there, like.
No death involved.
Just a sore ear maybe or something.
Yeah, exactly. So there's only really broken arms, broken legs stuff. Yeah. There's no real, whereas like death is a real thing.
Oh, it's constantly knocking on the door. Yeah.
It's a miracle more.
That's why that little 9-year-old you were looking at that day, like where he's probably stomping around. That kid probably has a more adult mentality than because as a little child,
fascinated me.
As a little child, you I think where it comes from is the fact.
You're allowed to say.
See, I think where it comes from is, say back in the 80s, especially, you didn't call a man to fix this fucking thing. Because there was no man to call.
Right, okay.
You know, you just went...
What did you do then?
You've learned how to fix everything. You know what I mean? You just learn how to fix shit.
Is this why you all fuckers came up in December? Because you were up to fix all the shit you'd broken, buy new ones that you'd broken during the year?
Yeah.
Right, okay. No wonder fucking Harvey Norman has excelled as he has. You fuckers coming up.
But this is the thing. So you had to become very self-sufficient. So
right.
And also as a child too, you had to become quite self-sufficient because it was like, you're here, you've got arms and legs, so do some fucking work.
Wow.
This shit needs doing.
See, I wouldn't have survived.
You would.
I wouldn't.
You would. You would.
You know, I could. I like, but you know your limitations. Like you know, I was very much a child who needed to grow up in an estate in Dublin. You know, but even like I look, some people would like I try all the time with my kids, and you're going to do exactly the same. Is that my kids are like instant gratification, like they want everything now, and they've no patience. And like I remember laughing when my mom telling me about, you know, them getting a house phone or a telly, and I'm now like going, my kids will be the same. They'll be like, no internet, you didn't have an iPhone, you're fucking cave people. What is you know? They just but you try. I try and go like my kids now say if something's broken, my kids go, we need to buy a new one. I'm like, no, we'll fix it. Like, you know, I'm essentially like a country woman. I'm like, no, we'll fix it, or we'll get new batteries for it. But they just instantly go, we need to, like my 2.5-year-old tells me, we need to go to the shop, we need to buy a new one, ma'am.
Wow.
Like, or that's her way of fixing everything is, we just need to buy a new one. Just get a new one. Or she sees things on telly, and they do, and Oisin the same. They see it, and they went, I want that. Now, I remember having an Argos catalogue.
Yeah.
And you get it near Christmas, and me and my best pals, you sit in the step, and you could pick one thing a page.
Yes,
and it was, you were never, like, you know, Elizabeth Duke was, you know, whoa.
Nice.
But you were never going to get that. But my kids, like, genuinely have self-belief beyond that. They're like, you know, I want this. I want this. I want that. I want that. And they have no concept of.
Where's it going to end up, like?
well, the fucking disappointment because they're not getting it. You know,
But is it going to be continuous disappointment? Like, or are they still going to be at 18 going, so do I get a Ferrari now or?
Yeah, and but see, the problem is that I had a lot of that, and because I was very lucky growing up. Like at 17, I got a car. I drove. I got a car for my 21st. My brothers learned how to drive when they were 17. They went on my dad's insurance. I don't ever remember, like, you got stuff for your birthday or you got stuff for Christmas, but I don't ever remember growing up being like, oh, I fucking really want that.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Because we generally had it or we got it. Now, you weren't just giving shit willy-nilly. Like, the money wasn't flying around.
Yeah.
But in comparison to other people, like, like that you're talking about growing up in the country or something being broken or trying to fix it or doing that, a man came in and fixed it.
Yes.
Or like my dad hadn't hands to bless himself. When they moved into that house, my mum and dad's house, he stuck up all of the bathroom stuff with no more nails because he didn't know how to, like...
Fuck me.
No, yeah.
Jesus.
He genuinely...
I got a pain in my chest when you said that. I was like,
right?
Oh my Jesus.
He hadn't hands to bless. I swear to God, Lord of mercy, he had the hands to bless himself. He stuck them up with no more nails because he was a quantity surveyor. He was that was his job. He went to Bolton Street. He was college educated. That was it. He was not and ironically, my brother, both my brothers are electricians.
Yeah.
And my brother is apparently by all accounts when he was on tools, he's a project manager now and whatever, but he was a really good electrician, like a really, really good...
But to be a good tradesman...
It was a great tradesman.
An electrician is a really knacky job. You got to be good at that.
Oh, he's very good.
Do you know what I mean?
People, that is a life and death. Electricity or not. The other one, I don't know. He wired my house and I have a lot of questions about lots of stuff. I'm a bit like, don't touch that one.
Why is that fizzing?
Yeah, that's... Can you, and like even stupid things that I'm still trying to get him. We've moved in 2.5 years. I'm still trying to get him to come back, and that's how I understand. It's like funny. I heard someone say that it's like be a plumber because everyone's an electrician, so be a plumber. Everyone's always looking for a plumber. Yeah. But I'm just like, no, things are on the rise. Or like someone said, I heard someone walking through town saying, now the boom is back. Because there's fucking cranes in the sky.
Yeah.
We just go, cause there's a crane, therefore the boom is back. Half the country's on its hands and knees, but because we've a couple of fucking cranes, I counted them. Therefore the boom is back. You're like, well, I don't think for most of us the boom is back.
It's not. I mean, there seems to be a ton of building work.
Yeah, of course there is.
Commercial
things, and they're a different entity to the rest of the world.
There's nobody earning bags and bags of cash.
Well,
I know,
I'm sure there are, but we just don't know about them. We're not as in your face as we used to be about it.
Yeah, it's fairly obnoxious, isn't it?
It was really obnoxious, but I enjoyed the people with the obnoxious money that were buying drinks when I was younger.
Absolutely.
Like when I was in my mid-20s and we go to Lily's, all those fucking owl lads, those dirty rich money owl lads would send over bottles of vodka and send over bottles of champagne. You just go, thanks. Wow. I'm like, you're not even going to sit in my company.
I never benefited that way.
But that's how me and my pals benefited.
I was making mega bucks. I was a civil engineer.
Fuck me, you were like,
I got
why are you here? Have you put it all away and pretended you have none of it? Are you one of those?
No. I still
like, no, Jesus, no, I haven't.
No, but I'll never go back to it.
Why?
I realized I was an absolute fucking animal.
In what respect?
I was not to be around other humans.
Really?
There was a few of us were just all work 90 hours a week, fucking bite your face off. There was no. Sure, I will my ticket to just a heart.
Yeah, just an aneurysm waiting to happen.
Like there's I have it on Instagram. I must try and find it. It's a picture of when I was 25, and when I was 35. My two passports pictures. I look older in the 25 one.
Stressed off your head.
Just I have this face. It's like I haven't even fucking time for this picture. Come on, and everything had to be done yesterday because that was the environment we worked in. And we got results and everything else, but I was ready to at the amount of times I pulled up the handbrake in the Jeep, got out in traffic with an iron bar to somebody that was just getting fucking road rage. Jeez. But I took road rage to, I'm going to fucking kill you if you don't shut the fuck up.
Wow.
I was ready to take it all the way to jail. And it was after,
You have a face for not having a great time, or somebody else having a great time in jail.
But then it was, see, this is the thing.
In
but
the Midlands,
Yeah.
They're your people, but they're not your people.
They're not my people. No. Well, you see, I think I'm as a result. My father, while he's from County Limerick, he'd be Abertoir, Sandwich. Okay. My mother is she went to a private school in Kilkenny. All right, so there is some breeding there. If you get me, just a crossover of some sort. But stand was the best thing. arse falling out of the country and me
having no job.
having no job and getting a pain in my chest and basically probably having a slight midlife crisis at the age of like 28.
That's very young.
It was great. Great.
Thank God you did it at 28.
Yeah,
though,
no, my brain broke for a while and then
Christ.
reset the fucking hard
Where
drive.
did you go when your brain broke? Did you have like a full breakdown?
Not a full-on breakdown. Yeah, maybe a...
Like, were you just going around like drinking stale milk and just like in your underwear, or did you go to a medical facility, or did you need to be medicated, or
no? Moved to my parents' house.
Grand down the country, bit of quietness.
Yeah, quietness.
So you were probably like right in the thick of it, were you? Prior to that.
Oh yeah, like up to like ridiculous levels, like driving around new Range Rovers and shit like that. You know what I mean? What, skiing 4 times a year, like you know.
Arsehole. Full arsehole
total bend.
But thank God at 28 that you figured out how much. So those arseholes, like those arseholes, I look at them now and they're still doing the same arsehole things.
Shit ever.
And they're still there, except they're now like mid-40s.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like some of the older lads, they've been gone. The world spat them back out.
Yeah.
And like when you're 20, like I kind of look now, I suppose when you look at people now and you see like, I suppose Instagram maybe, and that this Insta famous or that young girls, and I sound like a real fucking young girl.
No, I can't wrap my head around it
but
either.
It's the like, it's the knickers shots, it's the arse in the air, it's the whatever, and it's the, that, I think because it's so easy, like in those nightclubs when you were there was a gang of you together, and you know, they would send everything, but you were very much in control, and you were very, you know, for best bet, you were safe, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas I think that when you're putting that out online, and I don't think you realise how open you are, do you know what I mean, to like just fucking arseholes. And if you're 25, you don't, or you're 21, I don't think I wasn't able to deal with arseholes. No. Do you know what I mean? I really wasn't. So I think because my kid, you'll be the same, especially if you have a girl.
Yeah.
I'll just be like, I want my daughter to I want more than that. Do you know what I mean? Or know how to figure herself out.
It's only now.
When are you due? When is your wife due?
End of August. So it's and it's only now I'm starting to become aware of these situations. I was always aware. I was like I said, I was old for my age too. So I never understood why girls behaved like that in any way. And then Instagram came along and you're like, why in the name of fuck do you not know the animals, or do you want these animals? Because you have 7,000 photographs and every one of them is of you. So already you're putting it out an image that you're a narcissistic lunatic. Why are you putting these pictures? For what reason? My
favorite part is if they go missing, that you'll never find them. Because they don't look anything like their pictures.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like they look fucking nothing. Like literally, I swear to God, I met somebody who was on Instagram or whatever, and it took me 10 minutes to figure out that it was the same person. I was like, you don't look anything like you look online. But like as women, I'm like, why are we doing that to ourselves, and why are we like allowing ourselves to do that for what? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, and you're about to go into literally to the lion's mouth when you have kids of that. It's that those fucking mas that are there that are like, you know, I just got up and full makeup, and you know, I got up and I made all the muffins for the kids, and we had the full breakfast, and the granola was ready, and I crushed it myself, and I'm just going to go out and tend to the garden, and then we'll go around and we'll do happy clappy group for the youngest. And then the other one has baby Gymboree, and then after baby Gymboree she's gymnastics, she's excelling. No, I'm gonna whip. I'll do a quick roast lamb just for the dinner. I'll just whip it up, a gratin, whatever, it's fine. You know, and it's like, fuck me. You're like, if that works for you, amazing. But for the majority of the normal people,
but there's nobody doing that. There's no fucking way you have the physical time. I know what you're talking about because I've looked up a few of these people, because I'm a cynic too. Yeah. I'll go, and I know how time management works. There is no fucking way you're doing all that and having the time to document it and give it out to the public. Yeah. Because your own
I try.
You know what I mean? It's near impossible to do all those old awesome level fucking things.
But I think, and that's the thing. So like I'm always kind of a bit wary with the whole social media. I put a bit out, and I do love Instagram and I love social media. But I think, but I listen to where my friends talk about social media sometimes, and I know, I look at them and go, you realise that's a bag of Mickeys though. Yeah. You realise that's, and they're like, what am I? You realise that's not real. Yeah. It's like watching fucking Netflix. That shit's not real. Said this, and then they go, yeah, but she's been paid to tell you that. Yeah. that's a fucking, and it may not have hashtag on it, or it may not have collab on it. I said, but there's a fucking subliminal in there somewhere that's going to lead into her telling you that she wants you to buy X, Y, and Z. Someone's trying to flog his shit all the time. And I was like, even someone put up a picture a while ago, and they'd only given birth, right? And they had full makeup done. Now, more fucking credit to them, right? They had full makeup done. They had the outfit on. They had the baby, and they released the picture to say, not unlike fucking poor bloody Kate Middleton in her maternity nicks standing on the steps with the baby, right? But she made that decision. So people give out about that a lot, and I'm like, she has enough people around her that she knows if I pull my shit together, literally for 20 minutes, I'm cool. I'm gonna go hand the baby over to a nanny. I can crawl into bed, cry myself with my fucking baby blues to whatever. I have a whole team of people working around me. People miss that bit. They just go, oh, poor Kate. But the reality of people trying to emulate these fucking scenarios to make it look like they're the same. I saw a picture, and I swear to God, I just remember going, you poor fucking bitch. You poor,
what was she doing?
Poor bitch. Just her with this perfect picture of her baby a couple of hours old, her with full makeup on, in a full outfit, baby in full outfit. And I was like, I felt so sad that she felt that had to happen.
But to
that
what end?
picture had
Why are
to
they
happen.
doing this shit?
To put it up, to put out the fucking shop front that this is the all-encompassing.
Why?
I know, but this is the thing.
Like, the only reason I use Instagram is because I find shit funny, and I put up weird stuff, or just, hey, there's a new podcast. That's the end is to make people be happy.
Yeah.
But I never understand, like, 7,000 pictures. Like, somebody followed me the other day. I went, I recognize that name. Turns out I didn't. But it was this girl, and it was just continuous pictures of herself.
I love when you go into those podcasts, or into those accounts, and it's just pictures of all of them. Every picture is them.
Where's the crack in that?
Yeah, but but we're going to Instagram for different things, and we're getting out different things. And I like that. I like that there's all of those things. But I like, as you're going into that realm now of parenthood, you become acutely aware. And I think because I have a daughter, like, it even kind of falls into that thing of like, do I teach my kids two different things? But especially for, as growing up with girls, it's a different dynamic, and girls are a different dynamic. And I do look at that and just go, what will her perception of life be when she's 20? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, what will be going on in her world? Because to me, when I was like 23, 24, was going out, we used to do the same circuit around Grafton Street, end up in Lily's, champagne, fucking shakers, you name it, locked. And Elisa put you in a car and send you home. Do you know, like, and we lived that very superficial, full of shite, Louis Vuitton, Celtic Tiger life.
Oh, I saw a lot of it when I was doing Damo and Ivor. I saw the people that attached themselves to the production and whatnot. It was like, who the fuck are these people?
And Wes, hilariously, is like, comes from that set. Took the piss completely out of his own people. Do you know what I mean? Like, with the likes of Tarquin and stuff, and would have those parties of, taking the piss out of people with their Dutch Gold and their Celtic jerseys,
But what was funny, like, when we were doing different sketches, especially for Republic Italian stuff, and those people would be invited as part to be the cast. You know, they get a couple of quid or whatever. I think a lot of time they just they were happy to be around Andy.
Of course,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
But,
or Andy and Wes, I always get the two of them.
Yeah, so well, Andy's the sort of fellow who drive a van rather than driving a snazzy car.
Very normal,
he'd be very different.
To Wes.
But these girls would be hired from whatever agency, modelling agency, to show up, and they're wearing half nothing and stuff. And they don't realise they're in the middle of a sketch where we're taking the living piss out of that, and they're going, "Oh my god, this is awesome!" Yeah. They're like, it's not.
It's to be seen, though, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Seen, but you're going into the lion's mouth now with that. Do you know what you're having? Do you know if it's
we'll
a girl
know in a couple of weeks?
Are you going to find out?
Yeah. And we will. I suppose we both would be kind of traditionally sort of people anyway. But we want just because we just killing. Go on. We want to know.
You're gas.
I have a funny feeling. By the law of averages, and loads of my friends have had children, and they all seem to be having a boy first. I'm saying, flip of a coin, I'm reckoning we're having it a girl.
Right, okay.
I have a feeling.
Well, it's going to be a boy or a girl.
I know.
So, we didn't find out on either of our kids.
We were thinking. I
have to say, it was without being really sloppy, but it was the greatest two surprises I've ever had in my life. So, for Oisin, our consultant delivered him and handed him up to Joey, and Joey looked at me and said, "We have a son." And that moment in my life was one of the greatest moments of my entire life. And same for Hannah. When Hannah was born, I was convinced it was a boy because I was going to call the baby Ollie. And so I was like Oliver and Oisin and blah, 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 blah. And I kept saying, like, Ollie's, Ollie, a good name. And, this is all going on. And my consultant actually said, she was like, Suzanne, look down. Like, so Hannah was out at this stage and Joey was in a bundle. And she was like, look at the baby. I have very bad eyesight, so I had misread the umbilical cord that my child was incredibly well endowed. And as it turned out, it wasn't. It was, and I literally was like, "Oh my God, it's a girl!" And she was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "No, it's an actual girl." And she was like, "I was like, Jesus Christ, I wasn't expecting you." And I kept looking at her, going, Jesus, you're a girl. Like, you know, I was so far, but it was like they were two of the greatest. Because I think sometimes when you know, and like if you guys don't tell anybody, maybe, but you know when everybody knows what you're having. Like I had knew somebody who was having a baby, and I knew what day they were being sectioned. I knew what they were having. I knew what their name was going to be. So we knew everything.
This is the only thing I haven't like. This is the only place I've said this.
Yeah. Oh, wow,
so it's only podcast
it's
listeners.
Exclusive.
That's not really. It's just I don't like. The only way we would announce would be do something ridiculous.
You
like
didn't do a big announcement picture.
We were thinking we would just dress up as I don't know monsters or something, or do something ridiculous.
You didn't think it through, did you? There, so
what? This is the only place I've announced it. But we So everything else I think.
So how many weeks gone? Right.
8 coming up on 18.
Okay, perfect. So big scan coming up.
Yes,
big scan's mental.
Is it?
Oh God, yeah. It's like it's cray. Like, cause you go from like, depending on what app you follow, but your fruit or veg of the day, and then or else inanimate objects, So you go from that, and you're like, I guarantee you, she'll send you a picture, going, oh my God, look, we have an orange, and you're like, best orange I've ever seen in my life, and then you're like, oh, I have a melon. Or else I did for the second pregnancy, it was like a Barbie car, woohoo, you know, all that kind of, it's brilliant. But you go in and then they put it up on the screen and it's actually like, you know, a full baby. Like it's mental. It's like they have faces and stuff. Like for Hannah's one, she turned her whole face over and they actually stuck it into 3D. And that was when I was convinced I was having a boy, because it looked Mike and Mike. It was like my dad was coming to haunt me. I was like, fuck me, it looks like my dad. And I brought the picture home. My mum was like, Jesus, it's the image of your dad. And I was like, I know, right? I was
Mustache
like,
and everything. It was
amazing.
amazing.
Like, so, and I fully know she came out like a little monkey. She came out fully still covered in her hair and still, because she was early.
Right.
So she still had all that goose fat, but she had like goose fat all over her, and she still had all of her hair. So they're covered in hair, and they shed the hair.
What do they?
Depending on the baby. Like, so Hannah was very dark, and so was Oisin. Both had jet black hair, but Oisin had shed his hair. But Hannah, I swear to God, you could have seen her on like Dublin Zoo. Like, she was that. She genuinely was full of, I can't even think of like the word for it, but she was covered in the goose fat stuff, the white living or whatever it's called, and she still had all of her hair. It was all black, hair. No, it comes off like literally in like 2 days of her being born. She, like, every time we changed her, she was like literally shedding, but a thick black thing of hair.
Loads of photographs.
And they were like,
21st,
exactly, look how horrible we were when we were born. We loved you. But yeah, that thing of like the kind of, fuck me, you're in for a shock. And then it's born. Like when Oisin was born, I swear to God, I was going to ring the coom going, do you have a returns policy? Because we've made a big fucking mistake here. Like, we really have.
Why?
It was just such a shock. I expect, like, I'd read all the books and I figured that like 3 weeks in that like Ireland AM would ring me and offer me my own parenting piece, because I was that prepared to have him, you know. So then he arrived early and had his birth. And again, that's another thing. It's like if people try and share their birth stories with them, tell them to fuck off.
Oh no, that's not happening.
Women get this weird perverse pleasure of telling other heavily women pregnant what they're about, and it makes fuck all odds, because that's their labour. You still have to go and do yours. So I never got it. But with Oisin, I was terrified, and I was genuinely terrified. But he came into the world and that was fine, and we had our labour and it was all good. And he arrived, and then like you you have to recover, but no one prepares you for the fact that you have to look after somebody else as well. So think about it now. If you or your wife is sick right now, they just have to look after themselves. You just have to look after you, and your wife just has to look after herself. But you know, you're not sick after you have a baby, but depending on your birth, you could be a bit battered. Like, you're not able to sit, or you could be trying to feed, or you could be sore, or you could be just fucking shell-shocked. And then they leave you with a human and go, oh, and you need to look after them as well. And you may not be able to walk yet, or you may not be able to,
absolutely no capabilities right now.
No capabilities. So like that 3 days after he was born, I was absolutely battered. He was battered, and away we came home. And I remember just going, you know that feeling of when you're not well, you want to get into your own bed? Crawled into my own bed and put a duvet over me, and I just wanted Joey to get into bed and just hold me and be like, this is okay, except the little imposter who had arrived, or intruder who just arrived into our house, needed to be fed. So I was just lying there going, fuck me. And Jerry was like, that's what got us here. But like, eventually, it's like, feed the child. And that was it. And I remember just being like, I remember my mother-in-law coming in and I was sitting on the bed crying. And I went, I'm really sorry. I can't control this. She was like, oh, she just completely ignored me. She was like, so great. She just picked up Oisin and held him at the side of the bed. And I just sat there crying beside her. And she was absolutely perfect. She was just like, yeah, grand, you work away, do what you need to do. Like, it was that much of a total and utter like shock. It was genuine. I expected this other big kind of moment, and then people had sold me so much shit. Like, people had said to me, "This is gonna happen. You're gonna have this massive big and this could happen.
Yeah,
like, it depends.
yeah.
Everybody's different. You'll have this flood, and it'll be like you can't remember life ever before.
Yeah,
I remembered life 2 days ago before he was there. It was fucking handy, like." I still remember what life was like 4.5 years ago before he was there. I could leave the fucking house without having to argue over a pair of shoes and just be, put on your coat, put on your fucking coat.
we need a new coat, Mama. Coat is
Yeah,
broken. The batteries are gone on my coat.
And I should go say things. My husband goes, she calls me Daddy. It's so cute. I was like, she fucking calls you Daddy because she knows you'll go, it's so fucking cute. What do you want? Whereas I go, she go, Mom. I'm like, my mom is Mom. Mom, okay? Get with the program.
But funny, like, I don't know, am I going to be a
What are you going to be?
arse?
Oh, you will. Oh, dads are way worse.
I'm
than
trying
moms
to
are
think like I'm going to be tough or whatever, like, but I know I'll be a total soppy
My
arse.
husband, my kids have my husband wrapped around his finger. Like, they comes and they're swear to God, I check her cot for a laptop. I swear to God, I'm convinced she's fucking sending information to ISIS, right? Because she is up before the birds. So they come in and they're so wide, they run out to the door. Dada! She dadas, and he's Daddy, you're wonderful, and have a great day. And they hug and they kiss and I love you. And he's just because he hasn't fucking seen them all day.
Yeah, of course.
He thinks it's
great
he
times.
just he's like, it's Daddy. Like, I'm like, I lived from 7:30 this morning. Literally, we have been arguing. One of us at one point have been trying, like, just put on the fucking coat, wear your shoes. We have to go to be late. Get in the car. What the fuck? Where are you going? Where are my keys? So that, but he's just gone out to work. He's had lunch. He's had tea unattended. All those things. But they literally, and then they go to him, and she's like, Dad, can we go and see? And he's like, what do you want to do? And she's like, yeah. Or he's like, Dad, can I have a biscuit? That I've spent 40 minutes saying, you're not having any more treats. The end of story. And Dad will go, you want a raisin biscuit, man, son. Off you go. And he goes, wonderful, isn't he?
See, I wonder will I be like that?
You will.
Because she was a very strong woman.
Yeah.
Like, but strong to the point even men wouldn't have crossed my mother.
Yeah, my mum.
Well, once I can remember a guy crossing her by giving her a car she left in a car for servicing. I'll never forget this. Maybe this is what I got it from. And he gave her a replacement car.
Right.
But back in the 80s, you could see it back in the 80s, women were second-class citizens in these environments.
Absolutely.
And my mother could never understand this. She was like, hold on. Because her mother, physically a very strong woman. I remember her being able to split fucking timber, like three logs of timber at a time with one swing of an axe. Like, you're going, that's what Granny can do.
That's a man that's got talent.
And, but I remember this car had no brakes. Brakes went in this Granada, this Granada we got. Yeah. Car. No fucking brakes in it. And we were all sitting in the back, and my mother swung it around on the road. Basically, and took the tire iron out of the back and threatened the guy.
Well, see, that's why you were going around 20 years later with a fucking wheel brace in a Range Rover. Yeah. You were just the 20-year later version of your mom.
It was acceptable though in the 80s.
I mean, it was never acceptable.
Tipperary it was.
But like, it is that funny thing, because my husband is in the motor industry, and like that he always tries to make sure that everybody feels that, because as I would always say to him, like, I fucking hate going into a garage.
Yeah.
And someone going, oh, little lady.
But also, there's just a rude vibe anyway. You have in a lot of garages. A lot of garages are grand, but there's what I found. No, sorry, motor factors. Not so much garages. Garages nowadays are quite, they're getting their shit together. Yeah. But motor factors, if you go in, you want a set of wiper blades. The amount you'll go in and be, what is it? And you're like, dude.
Maybe that's just a dude who's working in motor factories. He's just like, I have a fucking pain in me hole.
Dude, come on.
I wanted to
but it does, and it vexes me when I see older blokes, and it's older blokes, the way they would speak to a woman, like,
of course,
you know what I mean? And I've had, like, Natasha never swore at all.
Right.
Really, she tried not to. She would at home or whatever, but I said, listen, somebody's fucking giving you a fucking, Go
have to be
look.
polite.
Just be ready to go over the counter and put their fucking head through a wall.
I think
Don't do it.
Just remember
Don't do
you said
it.
at the very start of this, you had said to me about the chocolate
Yeah.
and the psychopath.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
See, as we've meandered through here now.
But I'll never do it anymore. Just be ready to.
It's the fact that you're ready. I mean, it's the fact that that's the forefront. Do you know what I mean? To me, I would be like, well, just be verbally articulate to say to them,
I know.
What's the story? But it's funny. I don't know whether this is a Dublin thing or whatever. Again, my husband's terrible. Like if we go to the States for a week, he's like, "Hey, how y'all doing?" He takes the accent.
Yeah.
But I love when like the delivery man comes delivering whatever, and my husband be like, "All right, man, what's the story?" And I still take the piss that he answers the door, and he's like, "All right, man," and I'm like, "You don't talk like that. Why are you talking like?" Because it's like
he's assimilating,
like,
I suppose.
But it's that thing of like when you go into like a garage, you just become
I do it.
Yeah,
like I puff out my chest and it's all. Yeah.
Stop. That axle is just there. If it just with the Achilles over by the side, down by the wheel bearing.
Fucking carbohydrates are fucking this thing. Yeah.
Kicking the wheel, but it is a definite thing. We're chameleons. We're chameleons.
I noticed the bloke that's going to be doing the 1916 tour is going to be coming. Yeah, he's going to be coming down here in a minute, and it doesn't. It's a great tour, but it's not. It doesn't bode well for podcasts.
No, it doesn't. I was wondering why they were here. What is this for the 1916?
They do a walking tour around Ireland,
why
and
are they walking downstairs and into the basement of a bar?
No idea what
You've
benefit.
never asked that question.
I've asked.
Well, it has to be something to do with something. Because the civilian army and the thing is there.
I've asked the owner, and he just kind of he doesn't really know.
Obviously, maybe this was printing. Maybe
it wasn't. No. It's been a bar forever.
But maybe this is where they met and did their shit.
I asked, and there seems to be no relevance to it. I think it's just a bar that allows that gentleman to come in here, and they have a kind of an unspoken rule that they all buy a half glass of Guinness. Or a glass of Guinness while they're in here as well. So
and they've stuck up wallpaper.
And they stuck up wallpaper as well. I don't know where you'd get that wallpaper. It's pretty snaz, isn't it?
Well, I mean, if you're into the Irish,
imagine maybe the baby's room. Just do Republican stuff on the wall.
I think nothing says.
I talked about maybe baby balaclavas on a podcast last night.
Maybe baby balaclavas. Okay. Ironically, as you have like Michael Collins behind your head, and it's and Joyce and. The lads, basically. Who were fighting my family.
So, look, we better... Because we never properly... Well, we got a taste of Susie Says a little bit.
So, yes, Susie Said is my blog that I write on there. And
it's totally not a dose. I loved reading it because it's like... A lot of these kind of give me a bit of a dose reading them because it's like, I'm an actual God. And it's like, I don't know. I don't buy anything you're saying right now.
No.
But then... I'm old.
Well,
relative
I'm old
to these
as
people
well,
too.
so that's okay.
Yeah.
Susie Says, and I talk shite on Instagram, Suzanne.fm, from time to time, and my kids pop up there. If you don't like kids, probably not the place for you. If you like them too much, also not the place for you. Pass by. That's it. And I pop up in other lots of places too.
Ireland AMs.
So I'm on Weekend AM and I do the Dublin podcast, but we're on hiatus at the moment, myself and PJ Gallagher.
Yes,
so PJ is an Irish comedian, obviously you know who PJ is, but so he's filming Young Offenders, he's writing a stand-up tour, and I'm working on a 6-part podcast series as well at the moment. So
are we allowed to know anything about that yet?
No, absolutely not, because all my guests have been confirmed. Shit, here's the walkers.
Right. Okay.
Thanks. No, it's not. Somebody else.
Thank you very, very
Pleasure.
much.
Thanks, Tom.
My thanks to Suzanne Kane. That was absolutely brilliant. So, don't forget to hit subscribe. It's your first time listening. Give it a share, but most importantly, give it an out rating. If you can rate it on whatever podcast app you're listening to, it does help other people to find it. Also, thank you very much to the Patreons. Thank you very much to the T-Republic people. I'm going to go way out because I see the dog is trying to chase a fucking bird around the field, and I'm pretty sure she's not fucking going to get it. You have a fantastic weekend, and I'll talk to you again on Tuesday.